Hello kitties, it's terrible triple feature time once again, and this one's kind of on a somber note. About a week ago, great character actor Dennis Farina passed away from a blood clot in his lung, I believe. I really loved Dennis Farina. He was one of those guys, character actors that you always recognize when you see him, but couldn't tell you what his name was. And every time he was in a movie, he was just great. He's a former Chicago police detective for about 18 years, and he was working with Michael Mann as a technical advisor, I believe, on Thief. When Michael Mann put him in that movie, which led to him putting him in Manhunter, and then he, retired, I guess, a little bit early from the police force and pursued acting, which he did with pretty notable success. This week we're going to look at 3 of my favorite Dennis Farina performances. Our menu includes Midnight Run, Snatch, and Get Shorty. It's kind of, we're looking at, those are my favorites, but it's kind of funny, he has been popping up on the triple feature in the last couple weeks. He's in the Hannibal Lecter triple feature and Manhunter, and he was twice in the Elmore Leonard in the 90s triple feature with Get Shorty, which we'll talk about a little bit later, and Out of Sight, and just always great. And for us nerds out there, or people who don't know him from Law & Order, he was also one of the many guest voices on Justice League Unlimited as a Golden Age Justice Society member, Ted Wildcat Grant, and he was just brilliant as this washed-up boxer. He was just really good. Midnight Run is the movie that pretty much put him on the map. Like I said, he was in Manhunter as the original Jack Crawford, but it's, the Basil Exposition role. It's thankless, but good. He does a good job with it. In Midnight Run, he gets to be the big bad, Jimmy Serrano, Chicago turned Las Vegas mob boss who had run Robert De Niro's Jack Walsh out of town before which led to him becoming a bounty hunter, which led to this movie. And he's really menacing. He's kind of borderline goofy throughout the movie, but most of his scenes are him either talking to his lawyer, played by the always great Philip Baker Hall, or on the phone with his 2 enforcers. I believe they're called Idiot Number 1 and Idiot Number 2 at one point. But that all builds to him having a really great, 2 really great scenes where he's just this menacing force. The first being when he comes face to face with Charles Grodin, who these 2 characters, like, even in the past, in the story of the film, never interacted. This is the first time they've ever actually met, and he's just as goofy as he's been throughout the whole movie. You believe him when he says that he's going to, just kill Charles Grodin, go kill his wife, and then have a nice steak. And then just palpable dread when he confronts Robert De Niro in the airport, and you never doubt for a second that he's going to have all of these people killed, and he can do it. And it's great. And from there, I think he really cemented a good little niche character actor, which is what he essentially did for the next 30 or so years. Going out of chronological order, but in order of just escalating fun with Dennis Farina. Snatch, Guy Ritchie's follow-up to his debut film, Lock, Stock, and 2 Smoking Barrels, is a giant ensemble English mob movie, and Dennis Farina plays one of the few Americans actually in the film, where he plays Cousin Abby, who's come to track down Benicio del Toro's gambling-addicted Frankie Four Fingers and a diamond the size of a small child's fist. In order to track it down, he enlists the help of Vinnie Jones' Bullet-Tooth Tony, and they go after Boris the Blade, a.k.a. Boris the Bullet Dodger, played by the always great Rade Sribeja. And Rade Sribeja, it could be said, looks visually like the Russian Dennis Farina. I could be wrong on that. But Dennis Farina himself, just really fun, throwing in the F-bombs wherever he can, and just being really goofy and American throughout the whole thing. He provides a nice little touchstone for American audiences that didn't really need to be in there, but is welcome anyway. And whereas there are moments of dread and or actual drama in other parts of the film, the Cousin Abby bits are pretty much just played straight comedy, and they're hilarious. Finally, probably, well, it's definitely my favorite Dennis Farina performance. I would argue it is his best performance. Ray Barboni, Ray Bones, in Get Shorty. And my argument would follow, he steals the movie. You've got a film written by Elmore Leonard, so it's very clever gangster film. It's directed by Barry Sonnenfeld, so it's going to look slicker than shit. It's starring John Travolta, Gene Hackman, Danny DeVito, and Rene Russo. But I bet you $5 Yankee dollars that if you ask anybody to quote something from that movie, it's going to be a Ray Bones line. And that's not just because they were written well. It's his delivery. He plays the biggest yutz that has ever gotten himself into the mafia. And he's great. He is perpetually wrong, always confused, and can barely speak outside of... he can barely articulate a thought, let alone articulate one that does not involve several F-bombs in one sentence. And I love him for it. Or I loved him for it, because he's gone now. And nobody's ever really gone in film anymore with DVDs, videos, and everything. So do what you can to keep his memory alive. Rent these films. Rent all of the films he's in, because even in that horrible Ed Burns Sidewalks of New York bore fest, he is hilarious as this aging Lothario named Carpo. Carpo? I think Carpo. Because he can turn something, he could make something out of anything. Look at Another Stakeout. It's just a boring little role. The movie's not bad. Sequel to the earlier hit Stakeout with Richard Dreyfuss and Emilio Estevez. And he plays the couple that may be hiding the witness that Dreyfuss and Estevez are looking for. And he just works in these great little moments, because that was how good he was. And he just always looked like fun. And I'm going to miss him. And I hope you will too, and I hope you'll watch these movies that I listed. Probably a happier triple feature next week, if only because, God, short of something happening in between now and then, hopefully nobody else dies. So, either way, watch those movies, and I'll see you next week.